Hello, this is Nightline and I'm Nakia Bashiruddin. News making the headlines. Foreign source could be cause of polio's return. And at least 5 dead in New Zealand volcanic eruption. We'll begin with our headlining story. The Health Ministry has mobilized available measures to contain the possible re-emergence of the polio virus that was eradicated in Malaysia almost 3 decades ago. In a statement on Monday, Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said up to December 7th, the ministry tested 661 people in the surrounding area after confirming the infection of a 3-month-old boy in Tuaran, Sabah. He said all were found to be free of the virus. He added the ministry has also taken feces samples from 14 individuals with close contact with the child to detect any presence of polio, and the results are expected to be ready in a week's time. Meanwhile, Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Shafie Apdal said Sabah will take immediate steps to stop the spread of the disease. He said that he has been directing the State Health and People's Wellbeing Ministry to work with the relevant health authorities to curb the spread of the disease.
Begins with a sick child. One day, Amina wakes up unable to move.
Meanwhile, when met at the opening of his ministry's Innovation Day celebration in Putrajaya on Monday, Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli said the polio virus is suspected to be caused by a foreign source. He said initial investigation showed the baby and his family have no records of traveling overseas previously.
Dia ada dua lah, ya, sama ada datangnya daripada outside.
The strain itself Philippine.
The strain itself is Philippine. How it gets to is anybody's guess. It could very well be yang datang as whatever visitor ke apa ke. Itu satu source of it, ya. Ataupun bagaimana? People from
the baby travel.
The family could have also traveled outside. Itu kita tidak dapat kepastian. Dr. Chong, everyone have
no history of travel.
No history of travel, kan? There is no history of travelling. Yeah.
So we look at the possibility of
People coming.
Yeah, the possibility of visit daripada luar masuk pun itu yang paling menasabah. Yeah. And you must also know that benda ni can remain for very long. Dia boleh kekal hidup, and they can mutate pula lagi. So itu semua yang kita kena lebih berhati-hati, ya. Dia can go mutation, ya. So sangat mustahak supaya parents semua tahu pentingnya untuk anak mereka diberikan imunisasi dan vaksinasi, ya.
He added that the infant could have been infected with the polio virus before getting his second vaccination. As such, he urged parents to complete the 3-dosage polio vaccination for the children as recommended for their protection. Malaysia's last polio case was in 1992 before it was declared polio-free in 2000, together with other Western Pacific region countries. Former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak told the High Court on Monday he had bought a 466,000 ringgit watch at a Chanel boutique in Honolulu, United States, with his credit card as a birthday present for his wife, Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor. The former Prime Minister was testifying at his SRC trial, where he has been charged with misappropriating 42 million ringgit in SRC international funds. He also told the court he spent 3.2 million ringgit in 2014 at a jewelry shop in Sardinia, Italy, to purchase jewelry as a gift for the wife of a Middle East dignitary. Datuk Sri Najib said he put the purchase on his personal account as he did not want to use public funds to do so, and in the belief that he was entitled to spend money in it as he saw fit. He went on to say the gift was to benefit Malaysia through maintaining good ties with foreign leaders. On the 127,017 ringgit charged to his credit card and the Shangri-La Hotel in Bangkok, Thailand in January 2015, he said this was for the accommodations for his family and accompanying officers. He explained that while on holiday, he had also met with Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha to discuss about how the Thai government can help to address flooding in Malaysia. The Pekan Member of Parliament said he had the right to make a claim for the expenses incurred from the government, but chose to bear it as he did not want to complicate matters. Datuk Sri Najib is facing 7 charges, 3 for criminal breach of trust, 1 for abuse of power, and 3 for money laundering involving SRC International Sdn Bhd funds totaling 42 million ringgit. The hearing continues before Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali on Tuesday. Vehicle insurance policies and road tax of former Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi totaling 107,509 ringgit and 55 sen was paid using money from charity foundation Yayasan Akal Budi. This was revealed by Allianz General Insurance agent Ahmad Izhan Abdul Rashid during Datuk Sri Zahid's trial involving 47 criminal breach of trust, corruption and money laundering charges involving millions of ringgit of Yayasan Akal Budi funds. Izhan, 40, who handled the former Deputy Prime Minister's vehicle insurance and road tax-related matters, said between January 2015 and September 2015, he received 3 Affin Bank checks from the latter's former personal assistant, Major Maslina. He said the checks, which were made under his name, belonged to Yayasan Akal Budi. Izhan, who was the 14th prosecution witness, said Major Maslina told him that Datuk Sri Zahid had agreed to the amount he fixed for the renewal of the policies and road tax. He said Zahid took 39 insurance policies with him for 20 vehicles, including 18 luxury brand cars and high-powered motorcycles. The witness said the policies were registered under Datuk Sri Zahid's name, that of his wife Datin Sri Hamidah Khamis, and their children Nurul Lizwani, Datuk Nurul Hidayah and Ahmad Shafiq Haziq. Izhan also testified that the value of the insurance premium payable in the insurance policy was different from the value in the Allianz official receipt because there was a deduction of commission for payments made by him as an agent to Allianz. Hearing continues before Judge Colin Lawrence Sequeira. Malaysia is not aware of the settlement between Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated and the U.S. Department of Justice, amounting to some 2 billion ringgit. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the government will continue to pursue legal action on the matter to recover funds lost through the 1MDB financial scandal.
Saya telah ditanya perkara ini dan pihak Malaysia tidak tahu tentang perkembangan sedemikian. Saya ingat semua ingat bahawa mereka telah terbitkan bond sebanyak 6.5 bilion US dollar dan mendapat itu yuran hampir 600 juta US dollar. Dan tuntutan yang dibuat oleh Malaysia ialah kalau kita ambil kira kerugian dan sebagainya ialah 7.5 bilion US dollar. Tapi difahamkan bahawa laporan menyatakan mereka hendak penyelesaian dan sedia bayar 1.5 bilion hingga 2 bilion US dollar kepada pihak berkuasa Amerika Syarikat. Untuk kerajaan Malaysia, kita tidak tahu tentang perkara ini. Kementerian pun tidak tahu dan saya pun ada hubung peguam negara. Peguam negara pun sebut beliau tidak tahu tentang perkara ini dan kedudukan Malaysia ialah kita akan teruskan tindakan jenayah yang kita ambil ke atas Goldman Sachs yang kita harap dapat didengar pada tahun depan.
Last November, Lim demanded that Goldman Sachs return 588 million US dollars it had received in commissions from 1MDB for raising 6.5 billion US dollars in bonds for the state fund in 2012 and 2013. On September 25th, Goldman Sachs President and Chief Operating Officer John Waldron said the bank was trying to recover the stolen money for Malaysia. To date, Malaysia has filed criminal charges against 17 current and former directors at subsidiaries of Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated. Sabah has become the first state in the country to place Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission's senior officers in the Chief Minister's office to deter corrupt practices. Its Chief Commissioner, Latifah Koya, in announcing this on Monday, praised the state government for making the effort to be more transparent in the fight against corruption. She said the officers assigned would ensure the state's compliance with the set procedures. Latifah added that the move showed that Sabah state government was committed and serious in fighting corruption. Meanwhile, Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Shafie Apdal also announced the creation of 2 senior positions in the Chief Minister's office to curb corruption. He said the officers' placement would take effect immediately and will be on a contractual basis. The National Fiberization and Connectivity Plan, NFCP, has received positive and solid cooperation from the state governments to help in achieving the targets of the project. Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Deo said that if in the past a long time was needed to obtain approval to construct telecommunications infrastructure, but through discussions between the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission and the state governments, many obstacles had been removed.
Kita dapat kelulusan dalam masa yang lebih cepat dan ini adalah satu perkara yang sangat dialu-alukan dan ianya akan banyak membantu kepada kita setakat kita ini hendak mencapai target-target kita dalam NFCP ini.
Gobind said this to reporters after visiting the NFCP operations room at the MCMC Tower on Monday. The operations room is equipped with metrics and dashboards, which will focus on targets of the NFCP, quality of experiences and services, as well as the monitoring of NFCP projects. NFCP is a 5-year plan which, among other things, is aiming to provide sustainable, comprehensive, high-quality and affordable digital connectivity for the prosperity of the people throughout the country, besides providing a conducive environment for the use of new technology, such as the 5G. The World Bank has revised Malaysia's 2020 gross domestic product (GDP) growth from 4.6% to 4.5%. Its lead economist for Malaysia, Richard Record, said the projection was largely due to weaker than anticipated investment and export growth in the third quarter of this year.
We'd expect private consumption to be the primary anchor of growth. We also expect to see a return to positive contributions in terms of trade and investment, although that performance will still be relatively subdued given the uncertainties around global.
He said this after the launch of World Bank's 21st edition of Malaysia Economic Monitor, Making Ends Meet. In the public sector, he said the planned rationalization of the government's operating expenditure would continue to weigh on the contribution from government consumption, which is projected to grow at 1.8% in 2020 as compared to 1.7% forecast in 2019. Meanwhile, the overall investment activity is projected to expand at 1.4%. Velpari files summons against Sami Velu. Details when we return. Welcome back. Sungai Pelet Assemblyman Ronnie Liu on Monday gave his statement to police over his attendance at the 30th anniversary of the Hat Yai Peace Accord last week. The DAP Central Executive Committee member spent nearly an hour at the Bukit Aman Police Headquarters in Kuala Lumpur. His lawyer, Ramkarpal Singh, who accompanied him to record his statement, said Liu's statement was taken as a witness under Section 112 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Liu, who gave a speech at the 30th anniversary of the Hat Yai Peace Accord in Kajang on December 1st, said he had attended the gathering in his personal capacity. The case is being investigated under Section 505, subsection C of the Penal Code for intent to incite or which is likely to incite any class or community of persons to commit any offense against any other class or community of persons. Also at the Bukit Aman Police Headquarters was Muhammad Yusuf Rother. The former research assistant to PKR President Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim arrived with his lawyer at the premises at 12:45 p.m. to have a statement recorded over his allegations of sexual assault against Datuk Sri Anwar. It was reported that Yusuf lodged a report at the Sentul Police Headquarters over the case. Yusuf also claimed in the report that he feared for his safety from certain parties. On Wednesday, Yusuf made a sworn statement that he was sexually assaulted by the PKR president on October 2nd last year. The matter, however, was denied by Datuk Sri Anwar, who claimed he was campaigning in Port Dickson by-election on that day. Datuk Sri S. Velpari has filed originating summons against his father, Tun S. Samivelu, to determine his mental state through an inquiry. The summons will determine if the 82-year-old former works minister has a mental disorder that would cause him to be unable to manage himself and his affairs. In media reports, he was quoted as saying Tun Samivelu has been diagnosed as suffering from dementia due to Alzheimer's disease in 2017. He has been suffering from poor recall and registration of events. Datuk Sri Vel, however, denied that he filed the summons to gain control of his father's assets. He explained that as of 2017, he had been assisting his father to manage his estate and had used his own funds in the process. Tun Samivelu was the former Member of Parliament for Sungai Siput and one of the longest-serving cabinet ministers. In Terengganu, a housewife was charged at the Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court for allegedly injuring her husband with a hammer and a spade. No plea was recorded from Roslina Mat Yusof, 35, when the charges were read before Judge Nuria Osman. The court also ordered Roslina to undergo a month's psychiatric evaluation at the Permai Hospital in Johor Bahru. According to the charge sheet, Roslina had intentionally injured her 42-year-old husband with a hammer and a spade. The court fixed January 22nd for remention. In Pulau Pinang, police busted a drug processing syndicate and arrested 5 people, including a married couple, believed to be the mastermind. State Police Chief Datuk T. Narayana Sagaran said various types of drugs, including heroin and Aramin 5, worth nearly 400,000 ringgit, were seized during the operation. Also seized 2 cars, 2 motorcycles, and nearly 4,000 ringgit in cash. The 5 suspects have been remanded under Section 117 of the Criminal Procedures Code for investigation under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 and Section 8, Subsection A of the Firearms Act 1960. In Kuching, Sarawak, the General Operations Force seized various types of contraband cigarettes valued at more than 1.4 million ringgit. According to 11th Battalion Assistant Commanding Officer DSP Kinsi Bilu, the operation, codenamed Op Libas, was carried out following intelligence information and surveillance. Following a search, the team found 7,650 cartons of cigarettes of various brands, where taxes had not been paid. However, no arrests were made. Landslides leave 1,000 tourists stranded in New Zealand. Do stay with us. Latest update from the 30th SEA Games. We'll be right back. We're back with sports, the 30th SEA Games. The Malaysia contingent put on an impressive performance on the 9th day of the Games as they raked in 11 more gold medals on Monday, taking the total gold tally to 51. The highlight of the day, however, came in the esports event after Yu Weng Kian made history by becoming Malaysia's first ever esports athlete to win a gold medal in the event. The 29-year-old bagged the gold in Hearthstone, a 2-player card game, by overthrowing Thailand's Werit Popan 3-1. Yu started the match well by winning the first game, but was beaten in the second game to level the score 1-1. He, however, came back strong in the third game to secure another point before easily winning the last game to pull off the historic feat. Earlier, national archers won 1 gold medal and 1 silver on the final day of the archery competition. Muhammad Juwaidi Mazuki, Zulfadli Ruslan and M. Kambeswaran salvaged some pride for Malaysia when they clinched the men's team compound title by defeating Vietnam's Nguyen Van Day, Nguyen Tien Chuang and Thach Pi Hung 224 to 216 at the Clark Parade Grounds. The win gave Malaysia a hat-trick of golds in the event, as they also won in 2015 in Singapore and in 2017 in Kuala Lumpur. Later in the day, the national karate squad contributed another 2 more gold medals through the men's under 75 kilos kumite and the men's team kata events respectively. Karate exponent Arsha Mendran fought a long battle to retain his gold by defeating Thailand's Munten Songwood 3-0 in the finals, while the men's kata team beat Indonesia 25.4 to 23.98 to clinch the gold. Also contributing gold were the national shuttlers after they won 3 more gold medals in their respective events. Lee Zijia beat Singapore's Loh Kian Yu to win the men's singles event, while S. Kisona overcame Ruseli Hartawan of Indonesia for the gold in the women's singles. Men's doubles pair Aaron Chia and Soh Woo Yik then put the icing on the cake as they beat Thailand's Bodin Isara Manipung Jonjik to clinch the 3rd gold in the badminton event. Meanwhile, the national squash contingent continued Malaysia's medal-winning spree after winning 2 more gold medals in the men's and women's team event. The men's team, comprising Adine Idraki, Darren Rahul and Ryan Pascual, beat Philippines for the gold, while the women's team, comprising Rachel Arnold, Wenli Lai and Uy Kahyan, took the gold after beating Singapore in the final. In the swimming event, national swimmer P. Jing En capped an amazing outing for the Malaysian contingent as she broke the national and the games record to win the gold medal in the women's 100 meters breaststroke event. The 22-year-old recorded a time of 1 minute and 8.05 seconds for the feat. In the United States, hundreds of skiers dress up as Santa Claus to ride down the slopes of Sunday River Resort in Newry, Maine, as part of an event to raise money for the River Fund charity, which supports youth education and recreation. Take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Nakia Bashiruddin. Thank you for tuning in and take care.